Like I said, this is just business, miss. Nothing personal. Hey, whoa, why are you shooting me with your finger? I've heard of finger guns, but this is a little silly, don't you think? I got thunder running through my body. I can fire it at will, specifically at criminals like yourself. What? I'm known to target my opponents from time to time, but I'm not an actual criminal or anything. You're trying to tell me y'all ain't with Oko and that band of varmints of his? Oko? I hate that guy, giving ringleaders like me a bad name. Circus folk, huh? Well, y'all got a bounty out for you, and I gotta put food on the table. So stand still. Hey, wait, what if I help you save money? Like on deck building and stuff? How in the name of a Snorse's backside do y'all plan on doing that? Well, how about we go over some budget ramp spells? Less than 50 cents for ways to develop lands. Well, I reckon that'd help the folks back home a bit. Alright, you silver-tongued lass, I'll give y'all a chance. But if I don't like what y'all gotta say, I'm gonna shoot, you hear? Duly noted, what's your name? The name's Cassie, and you're trying my patience more than a stubborn horse in a drinking trough. Point taken. My name's Lucy, by the way. I'm just a little loony. Well, my darling audience, let's get right on into it. What in the name of Tar Nation are y'all talking about? Without further ado, let's start the show. Ram spells are some of the most crucial cards in Commander. They help you cast massive spells and are some of the most powerful effects in the game. But a lot of them reflect that price, and if you're building multiple Commander decks, that cost adds up pretty quickly. So today, under a bit of duress, I'm going to go over the top 8 best budget mana ramp effects in Commander. Spoiler alert, a lot of these are green. What can I say? Land ramp is some of the best there is, and honestly most of that's in green. Don't blame me, blame WotC. So, without further ado, let's get right on into it. Starting off at number 8 is Death Sprout. This is one of my all-time favorite cards, so honestly it mostly gets in on bias alone, but the card is super efficient for both your wallet and your Golgari game plans. For 1, 2 black, and a green, you get an instant that lets you destroy target creature, so it's murder. But it also lets you search your deck for a basic land card and put it into play tapped. This card is a great removal spell with upside, but it's not exactly ramp in the traditional sense because you need to actually remove something in order to get the basic land. The dual use of this card though is wonderful, and that's why it comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Viridian Emissary. For 1 and a green, you get a 2/1 Elf Scout that gets you a basic land when it dies. While this isn't exactly rampant growth, and I can hear the complaints now, what if it doesn't die? What if it gets exiled? What if my opponent eats the card? Well, I can't really help much with that last one, but honestly, if this card is eating a removal spell, or you're getting in for free damage, I think that's a-okay. And considering it's Commander, we can just humbly ask our potential allies to block it. However, the real power is using cards like Deadly Dispute and Fanatical Offering, cards that let you sacrifice it on your own, getting the search no matter what. It might be a bit slower than your typical ramp spell, but that doesn't make it any less powerful. Number 6 is quite the tale. Binding the Old Gods is an enchantment saga for 2, a black, and a green with 3 chapters. The first, meaning we get this one right away when we cast it, lets us destroy one of our opponent's non-land permanents. Removal is always good, but it's on the list for the second chapter. It gets us a forest card and puts it onto the battlefield tapped, meaning we can get dual lands that mention forests. Very good considering we need to be playing at minimum a 2-color deck to play this card. The final chapter ends with a bang, giving all of our creatures Death Touch until end of turn. If you didn't figure out why by now, this card is mainly on here because it's a better Death Sprout. It might be sorcery speed, but it's a small price to pay for being able to kill any pesky non-land permanents and getting the flexibility of getting dual lands. The Death Touch is just a nice little extra spice on top. You know what's also super spicy? Subscribing. It helps me out a ton and keeps this little show of mine on the road. Number 5 is a bit of a weird one as it's only a ramp spell in the early game. Edge of Autumn is 1 and a green for a sorcery that lets you get a basic land card into play tapped, but only if you have 4 or fewer lands. However, it's not dead in your hand if you have a plethora of lands though. It also has cycling. All you have to do is sacrifice a land and you can trade the Edge of Autumn in for a new card. This spell helps with the late game flooding for a bit and lets you ramp in the first few turns of the game, but the best uses for this card come when you can play lands from the graveyard or even get benefits for them going into the graveyard like with the new Yuma Proud Protector. Oh, I know that feller. He protects that little cactus folk village a little ways away from my place. Very nice man, if you don't mess with his youngins. You have your own place? What's it like? Scrappy little town a little ways away from what used to be Rustwood. Not everyone who comes around to Thunder Junction is looking for trouble after all. Yeah, like me! Jury's still out on that one. get back to work. Okay. Next up is Spring to Mind. I know it looks a little funky, but give me a moment and I'll explain it. Spring to Mind is actually 2 cards. The first half, Spring, can only be cast from your hand. It's 2 and a green for a sorcery that lets you search your library for a basic land card and put it into the play tapped. It's a little expensive for that effect, but when you put it into the graveyard, you can then cast a Mind later. Mind is 4 and 2 blue for an instant with Aftermath. That means you can only cast Mind from the graveyard. If something lets you cheat out a spell from your hand or your deck, you can only use Spring. However, if something lets you cast it from the graveyard, you can cast either one. That's a complicated effect, but the spell is pretty simple. You just draw 2 cards. You ramp now, then you draw a little bit when you don't have anything else to do. Double dipping on value is always nice, and that's why this one's at number 4. From one Aftermath card to another, number 3 is Road to Ruin. Like Spring, Road is 2 and a green for the same effect, but this time it's instant. Being able to hold up another removal spell, but having the option to ramp at instant speed is pretty fantastic. And Ruin isn't half bad either. For 1 and 2 red, you can deal damage equal to your lands to a creature. Ramp and removal seems pretty great to me. At number 2, we have Selfie Preservation. This card is 1 and a green for a sorcery that... legal cards only, you dirty varmint. As I was saying, Verdant Confluence comes in at number 2. This card is pretty shockingly only about 20 cents and is pretty great. For 4 and 2 green, you get a sorcery that lets you pick 3 modes. Either you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on any creature, even your opponent's creatures if you're feeling nice, return a target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand, or get a basic land card into the play tapped. What I love the most about this card is the versatility. You can either ramp big, recover some of your cool cards, or buff up your biggest boys. While it's a bit expensive at 6 mana, it does have applications in both the mid and late games of a lot of decks, and if you're at a slower table or have some ways to reduce that cost, this card puts a lot of work in for not a lot of price. Finally, at number 1 we have Wayfarer's Bauble. This little artifact is 1 mana. That's it. That's all it does. Until you pay 2 more mana into it and you get a basic land card and you put it onto the battlefield tapped. Classic colorless creation of colored mana. Now while this may be expected, some people may think that this isn't actually a budget card. After all, it was the golden child of non-green ramp for so long that it started to creep up in price. However, after being reprinted in basically every other Commander Precon and a few reprints and booster products like Battle for Baldur's Gate and Commander Masters, this card is, on average, less than 20 cents. That's a pretty good deal for one of the best ways to ramp in your non-green decks. It's practically a steal. Wait. Oh, look, Cassie, I didn't mean. Aw, hush, miss. Y'all ain't gotta worry none. I figured y'all were on the up and up round number 3. That last one was a little bit scary, y'all is all. Oh, good. Very good. Reckon you'll be on your way now, huh? Well, actually, I'm looking for someone. She maybe possibly framed me for murder. It's a long story. Well, if you're looking to hunt a criminal, I could help y'all out. Might find one of my bounty targets along the way. Looks like we're a team then. Looks like it. Y'all gotta talk to that audience of yours or anything? Oh, right! So there's the top 8 ramp spells on a budget. To be honest, there's probably quite a few more than these, and I would love to see as many as possible. Let me know what your favorite ramp spells are in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to check another one out. This one's on this cool budget deck I put together based around Vannifar, Evolved Enigma, or if you want to know more about that whole, framed for murder thing, you can check out my last adventure here. As always, thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, au revoir!